Pleasure to introduce architect Sanjeevani, the principal and partner at everearth Associates LLP. With an impressive 20 years of experience in the industry, she has collaborated with renowned architects such as Kadri Consultants and HOSMAC, focusing predominantly on healthcare and hospitality projects. Holding a master's in sustainable architecture from Bharati Vidyapeeth, Sanjeevani has been actively involved in incorporating green practices into healthcare buildings. Today, Sanjeevani will talk on sustainability in healthcare. So, let's welcome Sanjeevani.
She's already introduced me, but we as a philosophy, what we believe is minimalism is real. It is sustainable. It is simple, and it is just a way of life. How we take it's just not related to architecture. All our sustainability, whatever we have from our childhood, we have always seen such things, and it's only that we have not probably inculcated into us, or we have not stuck onto it, and somewhere down the lane we have just forgotten it, and now it is it is the time where we need to just hold on to it again, go back to the childhood memories that we have actually lost somewhere, and just bring life, sustainability in our lifestyle. It is basically our lifestyle. It is nothing more than that. So that's what we really believe. Now, sustainability in healthcare, rather not only just healthcare, but for example, readaptive use of existing building is also sustainability. Because why? Because there is infrastructure ready, there is a building ready. Okay, so this was some example. I'll be just talking with some examples, okay, and then later on I'll be just telling you what is how we incorporate this in our design. So these are all designed by us. So there was this office building that came up here in Mumbai, and they want the client wanted to have a hospital into this. So we although the facade and all that was glass, and this is the south facing facade with aluminium and with glazing and all that. um, but it had the complete infrastructure ready. It had a DG, it had a good water line, it had electricity, everything was all set. Even the staircase was really beautifully done, internal staircase. So we didn't want to do away with the flooring of the staircase. We managed to keep all these things intact and just replan the internal spaces with patient rooms and OPDs and all that thing, ICU, and this also has two OTs. So after everything, after using all these the existing infra, we were able to come up with this the look that you can see in the second picture. It is basically a terracotta. We had actually asked them to put up a terracotta tile so that we further reduce the heat gain. We have a second, so internally there is, so this is a false facade. There is another facade internally, so the windows are deep set, so you don't need to have a chhajja which is cantilevering outside. These are internally recessed windows with the material that you can see as terracotta. But eventually the client, it went down. It got into aluminium panels, but well, practical problems, with the budget in mind and all that. But then still we had our we still maintained the look and the feel of it. We tried to get again the recessed windows and all these things were there. We thankfully that philosophy didn't change. But yeah, the material was a problem. So when you ask me the challenge and the constraints in the initial section when we were discussing it, Akanksha, this is the challenge. The budget is a very big challenge when we come to the practicality of incorporating such things. So then, yeah, so basically a greenfield and a brownfield. So in healthcare we have this very very distinctly that there is a doctor who has already seen some property and मुझे इसमें ही hospital banana hai, I've bought this, and now you do this. So this is a basically a brownfield development. This is a very sustainable approach because again, as I told you, it is having everything in a greenfield project. You have to design from scratch. You have to put all your infra in place. You have to bring in material. यहाँ पे the what you say, those what you call that, when we are bringing material from the outsourcing the material from some other place and bringing into the so we are reducing on the carbon footprint is already zero, practically zero here, because you're already using whatever is there in place. So yeah, so it is basically we try first of all ki, try if the client has an existing building, we try to give him solutions into that. But agar nahi baith raha hai, and if he really is insisting, then yeah, we have to go for a greenfield development. This is one building where again, so what happens is in hospital, the facade becomes you can say a challenge, because none of the floors are repeated, they are not replicated. So there is a OPD on the ground floor, probably there is endoscopy on the floor, then there comes an OT में windows नहीं होते हैं, cath lab में windows नहीं होते हैं. So what happens is, then there are certain floors with certain windows, then there are other floors with windows which are not aligning. So usually we have a false facade to it, where we also take care of external plumbing, all these services that can be taken from outside, and have more of a regularized facade, you can say, so that it gives at least a better aesthetics to the building. So but this also helps us create a buffer for the heat gain. So there's no direct heat gain onto the into the rather the envelope of the building. So in ICUs or in OT and all that, these places, these rooms basically, they have more of HVAC to be dealt with. So you can actually, in a healthcare building, you can actually segregate AC air conditioned space and a non-air conditioned space. So that exercise also is taken up. I'll come to that further. So yeah, again, these were like deep set windows with fins. Then there is a canopy which is again having these the shading to the glass and all that here. Again, the terrace is partly shaded, so that there is internally there are solar panels and all that, but then the periphery we had got the pergola type, or like a umbrella to it. Okay, all our NEP spaces were again with louvers and all that, so it is a breathable space. So most of that was deep set and with vertical louvers to it. This was in a hot and dry climate I was talking to you about earlier. So we had so the building is facing, you can say, north west, or rather northwest more. So we are not having more of eastern facade. So the wings, because of the wings, that the major facade on the east and west is broken, and there is a space between the two buildings of around 10 to 12 meters, which help good wind flow through between these two building floor plates basically. And also now why we did this also to do one more thing. Like now, this the first block is our completely daycare, where we have OPDs and all these things. So by in the evening, this block is completely shut. Only the critical care and the residential, that is the IPD floors and all that, these are working. So what happens is your HVAC and all these things totally are we are segregating it from the other from the critical areas, so you can actually save on your energy. So when you're actually shutting this off, this is not consuming any energy, so there we are reducing energy. So segregating the departments, having it totally out of the main critical zone, is also helping us to reduce on the energy requirement. Okay, that was another elevation where we were using the same fabric. This is again in Gujarat, but this is more for you can say a trust hospital, which again had so majorly jalis, and having more venturi effect, as even Nikita was just talking about. And again, minimizing the glass. The client really wanted glass, but then we were like, okay, we will try to minimize it, but we will also try to have something more to it. So we did have a play of glass and jali and the brickwork, and along with, of course, the plastering and all that. So that was another elevation, or the same actually building, which eventually developed like this. Well, when we are talking about the building plan, again, when we are saying a deep plan where, this again is our regular, what we have always been seeing. Courtyards offer a better stack effect. Your lighting and your ventilation is better resolved into a courtyard kind of a formation. Okay, there is good ventilation here, yeah. And in hospitals where there are critical floors, there we are not doing any courtyards and all that. So basically OT and all that, वहाँ पे we are not doing all these things. But yes, when it comes to OPDs, so these kind of spaces where there is a lot of occupant load, so there you can actually have these kind of open spaces where they can go out, they can relax, then whenever their number comes वो आ सकते हैं, बैठ सकते हैं, all those things. So that kind of thing helps when when we have a courtyard and some spaces around. So this can be one block. Then the person, then it's another segregated or a different block into a well connected block, and into a critical, so the spaces are flowing into each other kind of a thing. Linear plans are always again better, where you can have light ingress from both the sides. Light is very important in a healthcare or other any building, of course, and it is a relief always, because in dark and shady, or all those dark spaces, it doesn't really work well. It gives like this the sick building syndrome kind of thing also comes up, and it is not healthy. So basically, however corridors are placed, okay, how we can actually bring up modular planning, okay, all these things, so that it is a efficient, and you can reduce the uh, energy loads basically in different modules basically. Stacking of the floor, how we do the stacking, where the service floor is going to come, that is also going to be a very important decision in a healthcare facility. Again, same, the corridor, basically in such kind of rooms where we have like a typical hotel arrangement, you have a maximum light coming into the space. When there is a toilet on the external side, there is a minimum light window which comes in through. Again, in an ICU, for example, if the beds are facing towards the outside, it is a relief to the patient. Okay, again, a typical grid, how grids work, and how health, healing gardens and healing spaces, and how they are important to help people. So there is a healing internally with medicines and all that, but this also gives a big relief. Reduction in waste. Hospital waste is a major criteria, where you need to look into different sustainable measures, how that can be resolved, how that can be taken care of. So reduction in waste, improved air quality, okay, reduction of carbon footprint, like how by using the existing infrastructure rather. And then some other like using renewable energy, green building technologies, energy efficient efficient water management, all these things are really important even in healthcare. Again, when I told you, as the waste is a major criteria, major problem that healthcare industry faces, and practically everything goes into the landfill. So that's a big concern. Segregating AC, non-AC areas is what we had discussed. Typical orientation, our solar panels and all that comes along. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Sanjeevani, for an intriguing submission on sustainability in healthcare.